This evening's meeting with the Truth in Taxation hearing. I call this hearing to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Carbonaro?
Present.
Daney? Gansey?
Here.
Hopkins?
Here.
Ranky?
Present.
President Wallace?
Here. I will turn it over to Paula for information on a levy.
Thank you, Mayor. This public hearing is for public input on the 2020 Village of Bartlett property tax levy. We discussed the tax levy at the last Committee of the Whole meeting. To recap, the proposed Village of Bartlett property tax levy totals $11,599,291. The general corporate levy is flat from the prior year. Combined with the police pension levy, the general corporate and the police pension levy have increased 17.4% from the 2019 extension. The debt service levy has decreased 2.24%. In total, the levy has been increased 119,477, or 1.04% from the 2019 extension. 2020 tax rates from Cook, DuPage, and Kane counties will be determined in the spring of 2021 when the counties finalize EAVs for the 2020 tax levy. This levy will be presented to the Village Board on December 1st for final approval, and the levy will be filed with each county clerk no later than December 29th, 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Administrator. At this point, does anyone in the audience have any questions regarding this information or comments? Does any board member have any questions or comments regarding her description of the levy?
Nope.
Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the hearing. Second. Moved by Trustee Daney, seconded by Trustee Hopkins. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Carbonaro?
Yes.
Daney? Gansey?
Yes.
Hopkins?
Yes.
Ranky?
Yes. Hearing's adjourned. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Village of Bartlett for the board meeting for October 20, 2020. I call this meeting to order and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Carbonaro?
Present.
Daney? Gansey?
Here.
Hopkins?
Here.
Ranky?
Present.
President Wallace?
Here. We have requested that Pastor Alex Culpepper of Alliance Bible Church present our invocation this evening. Thank you for being here, Pastor Culpepper.
No problem. Would you please pray with me? Father, I thank you for the people in this room, the decision makers, the advocates who you've brought here. Lord, I thank you for our first responders. I thank you for the servants that exist in this community, our medical workers. Lord, you have given these people to this community as gifts. So thank you for them. And Lord, as we look around us at the hopelessness that continues to move on, Lord, rising positivity rates, racial unrest, as we look at the reality of just political strife, of loneliness, of just the abounding hopelessness that is present, Lord, we ask that you would give hope. Lord, you've shown yourself to be a giver of hope through sending your son, Jesus. And so we ask that you would allow the people in this room to speak in ways that make for hope tonight. That you would allow the people in this room to make decisions that make for hope tonight. That you would continue to enable our first responders to do the things in our community that make for hope. Because you are a giver of hope. And so we trust you for these things and we pray them in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Brings us to our consent agenda this evening. All items listed with an asterisk will be considered enacted in one motion. There'll be no separate discussion on the items that are listed on the consent agenda. At this point, is anyone interested in removing or adding anything to the consent agenda? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda, which will include the board and committee minutes of October 6, 2020. The consent this evening will also include the bills list from October 20, 2020. The consent this evening will also include item under Building and Zoning Committee, item A1. The consent this evening will also include under Finance and Golf Committee, items C1 and C2. The consent this evening will also include under License and Ordinance Committee, items D1 and D2.
So moved.
Moved by Trustee Daney. Seconded by Trustee Hopkins. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Daney? Gansey? Yes. Hopkins? Ranky? Yes. Carbonaro?
Yes.
That motion carries. Next item we have this evening is our Treasurer's report. Mr. Treasurer, I'm assuming you're
Yes,
virtual?
I am. Thank you, President Wallace. Included in today's packet is the Treasurer's report for the month of August. Also included is the sales tax report. We're showing $209,005 was received in the month of August. That represents May's activity. That was down $23,000 compared to last year, or $10,000. So far, for the first 4 months of the year, we're just down $29,000 or 3.7%. So we're still doing okay. This is being made up by use tax or internet tax, which is currently up $96,000 same time of the year. Also included is the MFT report, motor fuel tax report. We received $121,837. That's $70,851 of the old MFT tax and $50,986 of the Transportation Renewal Fund. So as you can see, next month was the first month of the prior year that we received the Transportation Renewal Fund. So that's it for the Treasurer's report, unless there's any questions.
Does anybody have any questions for the Treasurer?
Not at all.
Nope.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Next item we have this evening is the President's report. And it is my honor to start that off with the swearing in of Trustee Renee Suwanski. Mr. Attorney. Chris, can you mute whoever that is?
Is it mine? Yeah.
Officially welcome you aboard, Trustee Suwanski, and we really appreciate your willingness to serve. Thank you. Not as fun on this side, though, Renee. All right, next item on my President's report this evening. It's exciting to see the Bartlett Community Care Initiative Award presentation. So I'm going to ask Chief Ulrich to get that kicked off. I don't know that too many people know what that is, so I'm assuming you're going to give us some background on it.
I sure will. So good evening. In 2019, Bartlett Police Department and Village Church of Bartlett launched an innovative program not knowingly used elsewhere called the Bartlett Community Care Initiative, which we refer to as BCCI. This initiative is a result of several years of planning, discussions, and relationship building efforts between Bartlett Police Department and Village Church of Bartlett. BCCI supports our police department's crisis intervention strategies and enables our department members to provide services and resources to the community on a 24/7 basis through donations received from residents, businesses, and church members. Although the program has only been in place for about 16 months, it's proven to be successful in providing department members with resources that otherwise would not have been available. The first fundraiser was held in 2019, and with continuing donations, the following are examples of available resources. A cell phone with an Uber app to provide to those who don't have the ability to get transportation to a mental health or addiction treatment facility. Meal gift cards, gas gift cards, Metro train passes, freestanding phone charging station placed in the police department lobby, and a Samsung tablet with a mental health resource app for reference. BCCI is also utilized to assist residents with service donations, including hoarding issues, snow removal for the elderly or sick, yard cleanup services, fixing broken doors, or assisting with emergency needs such as cribs, baby food, and clothing. Also, as part of the Bartlett Community Care Initiative, Village Church of Bartlett partnered with a nearby hotel. Should a member of the Bartlett Police Department identify a need for a hotel, the police department can arrange a room with the hotel, and Village Church of Bartlett is invoiced. Circumstances considered include individuals or families who might feel uncomfortable staying in their home due to being the victims of a crime or having a death have occurred in the home. Bartlett Police Department is also part of the Police Assisted Addiction Recovery Initiative. Mental health interventions are increasing, and officers are referring individuals to mental health or addiction treatment facilities, but many individuals seeking help don't have transportation to help them get to these facilities. And the problem in those cases is if they can't get there, the beds are taken by somebody else. So we partnered with Village Church of Bartlett to establish another way to help those in need of such services due to the lack of police manpower to provide routine transportation. That's where that Uber app comes in important. We can call an Uber, and the Uber will take them to the transportation facility. Because the program has grown well past its original idea of helping those in mental health crisis, BCCI is currently becoming its own 501c3 organization with its own board members. BCCI creates an annual report and engages in community service days throughout the year. Recently, DuPage County Chiefs of Police Association announced it was accepting nominations for its Pioneer Policing Award. And I submitted a nomination for Bartlett Community Care Initiative to be considered for that award. The Pioneer Policing Award is awarded to a DuPage County law enforcement agency which has pioneered a totally innovative program, policy, or concept not knowingly used elsewhere to further the professionalism of law enforcement and or service to citizens. Some of the award criteria includes the fact that the award is based upon totally innovative programs, policies, or technology not knowingly used elsewhere. The weight of the nomination is increased with the level of risk-taking without sacrificing ethics or safety, and radical innovation differing from long-standing tradition. The nominated agency must be willing to share with sister agencies the programs, policies, or technology which resulted in the nomination. The weight of the nomination increases with the commonality of the problem for which the program, policy, or concept was implemented. And the nominating agency must be a DuPage County Chiefs of Police Association member agency in good standing at the time of the program, policy, or concept and award. So I'm proud to report that DuPage County Chiefs of Police Association selected Bartlett Community Care Initiative to receive the Pioneer Policing Award. I'd like to commend Sergeant Jessica Crowley, Detective Chris Johnson, and police psychologist Dr. Cammie Juswin, as well as A.J. Laredo, Scott Dick, Brianne Fueling, and Pastor Michael Fueling from Village Church of Bartlett, and many other volunteers for this incredible partnership that has allowed Bartlett Police Department members access to resources we wouldn't otherwise have. Sergeant Crowley and I accepted the award on September 24th, and after receiving the award, I had an identical award made so we could present it to the members of Village Church this evening. Thank you all for your vision and passion in imagining this program and bringing it to fruition. We are proud to be partners with you in finding innovative ways to provide services to our residents. President Wallace, will you please present the plaques? And if I could invite the people I mentioned up to accept those, please.
I'll just say into the microphone real quick. I handed out to the board and also brought along for anyone else who's interested in. We have made cards in memory of Dr. Michael Kammerer. So he was actually a member at our church, and we're compiling a book of memories for him. And so I'll have those out on the table out in the back if you would want to grab one of those. We're just trying to get memories for his wife and his family of his legacy and how many places that it's touched, to compile those. You can turn them back into the village. Thanks.
I'd just like to say that this is so innovative. I'm not sure of another police department in the country that does something like this. We've already been contacted by several DuPage County police agencies, and I was telling Brianne, my goal is to hopefully present this concept at the International Chiefs of Police Conference next year in New Orleans. So we're going to work toward that, and hopefully we can expand it and make it a model for other police agencies and communities to follow.
Thank all the kids for coming out too. Thank you. It's always good to see so many kids in here. Next item on the President's report this evening is a proclamation for World Polio Day. I can present to the now President of our Rotary Club, Trustee Daney. Proclamation for World Polio Day 2020. Whereas the Rotary Club of Bartlett is a member of the Rotary International, the world's first and still one of its largest nonprofit service organizations, founded in Chicago, Illinois in 1905. And whereas the Rotary motto, service above self, inspires members to provide humanitarian service, encourage high ethical standards, and promote goodwill and peace in the world. And whereas Rotary in 1985 launched Polio Plus and spearheaded the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, which today includes the World Health Organization, U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, UNICEF, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, to immunize all the children of the world against polio. And whereas polio cases have dropped by over 99.9% since 1988, and the world now stands on the threshold of eradicating this dreaded disease and thereby eliminating the threat of polio-caused paralysis to every child in the world. And whereas the members of the Rotary Club of Bartlett continue to contribute their time and their resources to support Polio Plus and the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, and whereas their efforts are providing much-needed operational support, medical personnel, laboratory equipment, and educational materials for health workers and parents. Now, therefore, I, Kevin Wallace, President of the Village of Bartlett, do hereby proclaim October 20, 2020 as World Polio Day in Bartlett, and do hereby encourage all residents to join the Rotarians of our local club in the fight for a polio-free world, dated this 20th day of October 2020. And I encourage anyone that hasn't ever visited Rotary, you can be my guest, you could be Ray's guest. You're welcome to come to our Rotary Club. We meet at Villa Olivia every Thursday for lunch. So.
Hey, Chris,
Is it for the,
I can't hear anybody but the mayor.
no, we did that on purpose, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so, Chris, can you get that figured out?
It's gonna start again, see?
I don't think so.
No, you're on. It's mine.
Want me to put this in the middle of it?
Well, they shut me off at home, why shouldn't they shut me off here at Village Hall? I'll have nothing to say any longer.
Can you, say test or something, see if, he can hear you?
Testing,
Yes.
testing, is it
Very
working?
good, I can hear you. Thank you.
All right,
Hear me? All right.
all right. Does anyone have any questions for staff or comments?
Well, I guess I do have something to say. Maybe I will take this. Again, relating to the family, we had an incident on Friday, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. My wife and I were traveling around and whatnot, and she started experiencing pain in her right arm. And normally she's a real trooper, and she can just move forward and get on with it. And she said, Ray, she said, please take her over to the fire department. So we went over to station number 1, and I cannot remember all the gentlemen that were involved, but I think their names were, well, a couple of them were Alex and Ed, I believe. And I just want to thank the Bartlett Fire Department District for the work that they did on my wife. They checked her out totally, and she found out she was fine, and the pain finally subsided a day later. But the gentlemen, the firefighters, the paramedics that worked on my wife on Friday did an outstanding job, and I just want to thank them very much publicly.
Good.
So, that's all I have.
Anyone else?
Yes. I would just like to say how very excited I am to be serving the village of Bartlett. So, Mr. President, I would like to thank you, the executive board, and members of the community for your trust and confidence.
Well, it's nice to have you here, Trustee Suwanski, so welcome.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Mayor, I just wanted to point out that Violet's Gaming Pub Class B liquor license was pulled at the request of the petitioner.
Yeah, I should have probably mentioned that when I just blew right past it, right? Yeah, just to reiterate that, the Violet's Gaming Pub Class B liquor license, I didn't miss it. They actually pulled their petition a couple hours before the meeting, so that's why it's not being discussed this evening. Brings us to Town Hall. If anyone would like to address the board, please step up to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and attempt to keep your comments to 3 minutes.
James Lundberg, 807 Redwood. Just received my water bill. It's for 8,000 gallons of water. And no one in the village hall can explain to me why I have 8,000 gallons of water for 2 people. For the last 4 years, they printed out a schedule of what my water bill has been. Never goes over 4,000. And all of a sudden, I have 8,000. So they're telling me, too bad, so sad. Somebody from a water department calls up and says, well, you must have a running toilet tank or your faucets are leaking. Well, I think I would know the problem if that were true. He said, well, we have to send somebody into your house. You don't have to send nobody into my house. You guys don't trust me like I don't know what I'm doing? You think that people lie when you get a bill like this for 8,000 gallons of water? Also interesting that there are 5 other houses on my street on Redwood that also have the exact same thing, 8,000 gallons of water. Something is wrong with your computer system, and it needs to be fixed. And in the process, you need to give some lessons or instructions to the people that work in this village, because they are one rude group of people. They don't treat any respect to the residents and taxpayers in this town. Anytime I come in the door here, it's nothing but rude. I'd like to know what can be done about 8,000 gallons of water. I already paid the bill for $130, but I've never paid that before. And like I said, I have a record here that Village Hall gave me for the last 4 years. Never went past 4,000.
Is Dan on, Mobley? Dan Dinges?
Hello.
Have we checked out if, that just happens to be the area where they were putting in the new water main. Have we checked that out?
I have not checked that out. We take a look. I mean, typically we try to get in because we check the meter, just to make sure that it's functioning, but usually the meters are accurate. And well, the house
This isn't working.
reason why we always, don't necessarily see or hear some of those. Those are things that we always ask our residents to take a look at just to make sure. If you have a water softener, some people are still using water softeners. Sometimes those will get stuck and will cycle.
Well, obviously, Dan, if there's more than one of them that have had 8,000 gallons of water, we have to figure out why. So we'll figure it out.
Well, like I said, there's 5 other people on my street that got 8,000.
Okay.
And one neighbor across the street got a letter last week from the village hall saying, oh, we send you the wrong bill, we'll send you another one. Yesterday, she receives a letter saying, hey, we're cutting you off, you're not paying your water bill. What's going on?
Yeah. Okay. Dan, can you look into that and follow up with Mr. Lemberg?
Yes, we will do that.
Thank you.
And somebody will get back?
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to address the board at this time? Can we figure out what Dan's connection problem is in case he has any other questions?
I'm on now. I was going in and out.
Can I take this off to talk?
Yeah, sure.
My name's Teresa Materna. I live at 329 West North Avenue. I've been to the board before on many occasions regarding this issue, going all the way back to 2018. I'd like to start by thanking Chief Ulrich and Bartlett PD for all they've done regarding the traffic at North Avenue and Western. Chief Ulrich has been very upfront and communicative with me regarding any changes in this situation. I truly appreciate his professionalism. The original concern I brought before the board was the number of vehicles failing to stop when going northbound on Western Avenue and turning westbound to go onto North Avenue. I have offered, because this goes directly past my driveway, I have offered to be of assistance in any way possible with community input. In June of 2019, I wrote a letter to all members of the board addressing my concerns. I even went door to door obtaining signatures from area residents who agreed there is concerns at this intersection. A working solution was the placing of flashing stop signs at this intersection. There have been pros and cons to this. I've even received negative anonymous letter from neighbors that have used very harassing language towards me. Just today, from 2:36 to 2:46 this afternoon, a 10-minute period, I counted 51 vehicles that went through this intersection. Of those, only 10 of them made a stop. The rest were a combination of rolling stops or no stopping at all. That's 80.4% of the cars did not make a stop at this intersection. If school were in session, I can guarantee this number would be much higher. I'm concerned for my safety pulling out of my driveway every day, the safety of my 1-year-old grandson, the safety of visitors that I have come to my home. One of my neighbors is considering selling their motorhome for fear of being hit when they pull in and out of their driveway. On the February 4th, 2020 board meeting, Chief Ulrich stated he believes they have had only one complaint since August. Trustee Daney stated he had a number of complaints, but they had diminished lately. It was discussed at that point what the procedure would be for the removal of the signs. And this is a quote, process would be a petition in which 66% of the impacted area would have to be on board to pursue a traffic calming measure after it has cleared certain hurdles with the police. Additionally, according to the way it was written, we'd have to give it a 12-month trial run and examine whether it's effective, still wanted, or still warranted. At the October 6th board meeting,
it was decided by Trustees Ranky and Diney to have the stop signs removed with no input from the surrounding neighbors. On the morning of October 8th, the stop signs were removed. It took me over a year, possibly two, to have them put in, and it took less than 48 hours to have them taken down. I ask you, what happened to the 66% of resident approval? I realize this is not the only area with traffic concerns. It is the only area where I live. I ask, how can you represent the residents of Bartlett when you make decisions without resident input? Again, I'd like to thank Chief Ulrich for calling me to let me know that this was happening. I wish the village board would have taken the same courtesy. So my final question is, what are you going to do about this situation?
Well, may I address that for a moment, please? As long as I serve on this board, I've had so many complaints about the flashing stop signs over there. You can see them from Lake Street when you turn on the North Avenue, and you can see them from Devon Avenue when you turn on the Western Avenue. The purpose and intent of installing the flashing stop signs was because of all the traffic that was going through there at the time, which has been greatly reduced based on the information that I've received from staff. And that was predicated on the construction that was going on in the area. And the complaints that people came to me, and regardless of if I were in my house, and I live in that neighborhood, I go through that intersection all the time. And by the way, that sign that you have out there, stop because I live here, that's in a parkway, that's a village parkway, that's an illegal sign. That should be in your that should be on your property.
I will move it there.
Okay, that's where it should be. And the stop signs, I don't think people are going to stop anymore with the flashing stop signs that are inconvenience with all the complaints that I had gotten from residents than what we're having with the flashing stop signs being gone. And I'll tell you, as long as I'm on this board, I will vote against those flashing stop signs. That was the only place in this village where we had flashing stop signs. The only place. Don't you think that other intersections would have wanted something like that if we had promoted that? It's not a time or place for flashing stop signs. The construction is gone. Traffic is still going to go through there. They don't want to come across the railroad tracks down by Oak Avenue, so they're going to come through there. And they're going to the golf course and whatnot. We don't need flashing stop signs.
Then what are we going to do to solve the issue of me not being able to pull out of my drive safely, taking 7 minutes to pull out of my drive safely?
It wouldn't be any different if you had flashing stop signs.
Whether they're there or not, what?
Okay, we'll look into it, and I'll have the chief get back to you if there's any other measures we can take. I know we did have a lot of complaints when we brought up the fact that we might think about speed bumps, and there was a lot of complaints about that. But I understand your concerns. I totally do. I've been down that road. There's a lot of traffic there. We'll keep working on it, Chief, and we'll try to figure out another way to go.
I mean, I'm at a point of I don't know what to do.
Yeah. I don't think we do either, other than trying to redirect traffic. So that's really...
I mean, I'm just afraid my car's going to get hit when it's on the street. I'm going to get hit pulling out of my driveway, or my 1-year-old grandson's going to get hit when he's playing in my yard.
Yeah, I understand.
So then what's going to happen? Because there's been no action taken.
Well, we've tried, but it is an actual road, and we can't stick a police officer there 24/7.
And I understand that, but something has to be done. I don't know what the answer is, but something... make it one way, change direction. I mean, I don't know. There's a multitude of other possibilities that need to be looked at.
We'll come up with some different ideas. Chief?
Be glad to look at that, but no flashing stop signs.
Thank you for bringing that up for us. Anyone else like to address the board at this time? Hearing none, we will move on to the standing committee reports this evening. First standing committee report is Building and Zoning. Chairman Ranky.
Thank you, Mr. President. The only item on Building and Zoning was on consent.
Thank you, Chairman Ranky. Next standing committee report, Community and Economic Development. Chairman Gansey.
Thank you, Mr. President. We only have one item here. It's pretty straightforward. It's a resolution supporting and consenting to the Class 6B eligibility application of Connor Globe Bartlett for proposed Lot 2A in the Brewster Creek Business Park. The reason I left this on here is trying to educate myself today on what this was and what it meant. So what I learned from staff was, this helps ensure that we're bringing, that this is coming here, but also it's a resolution that goes to the Cook County Board. Is that correct? So this is, our purpose with this today is a resolution that then goes to the Cook County Board that ultimately decides if this is something that they will grant to them. So is there any other discussion or questions with that?
You can make a motion if the motion is there. I see the bottom part. You can read that.
I'm sorry. Motion to pass the resolution. Okay. So a motion to move to approve resolution 2020, a resolution supporting and
100. 2020-100.
Oh, dash 100. Oh, it didn't sit on there. A resolution supporting and consenting to the Class 6B eligibility application of Connor Globe Bartlett LLC for proposed Lot 2A in the Brewster Creek Business Park, commonly known as 375 Spitzer Road, 1501 West Bartlett Road, Bartlett, Illinois.
Can we get a second?
Second.
It's moved by Trustee Gansey, seconded by Trustee Ranky. Is there any discussion about this resolution? I see the Connor folks are here. Thank you for being here. Hearing none, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Trustee Gansey?
Yes.
Hopkins? Ranky?
Yes.
Suwanski?
Yes.
Carbonaro?
Yes.
Daney?
Yes.
That motion carries. That's all for your committee. Next committee we have is Finance and Golf Committee, Chairman Daney.
Thank you, Mr. President. The two items we had on the agenda were covered under consent. We have nothing else this evening.
Thank you, Chairman Daney. License and Ordinance Committee, Chairman Hopkins.
Thank you, President Wallace. Item D1 and D2 were covered under the consent. That's all we have.
Thank you, Chairman Hopkins. Police and Health Committee, Chairman Carbonaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. There is nothing to report under the Police and Health this evening. Thank you.
Public Works Committee, Chairman Suwanski.
Thank you, Mr. President. Public Works has nothing to report this evening.
Thank you, Chairman Suwanski. Anyone have any new business they would like to discuss?
I would like to encourage something over at Bartlett Hills. Last weekend, we participated in the Oktoberfest, which was sort of a nice thing for people who are kind of stuck inside during the whole COVID thing, to place your order and get sort of this Oktoberfest meal. It seems like it's a reasonable way to get the staff and the facility busy and producing and generating some revenue for us. So I'd like to encourage Bartlett Hills to do things like that in the future. It was a nice morale booster and a decent meal, and a fun time was had by all.
Right.
November 7th is your next opportunity. It's the prime rib pull-up and curbside meal.
I would encourage everybody.
And I think they're working on something for the holidays, too.
Fantastic.
Very good. Very good.
I would just like to bring up, I had a few people reach out to me online about Ruzicka Park and the parking lot, and that there's like a lot of potholes, that it's just not very becoming, like when we have outside people, that when we have outside people come to our different events, you know.
Where's it at? Which
Ruzicka?
Oh, Ruzicka.
Newport.
It has always been a challenge.
I had some people like sending me some pictures of like different potholes, and I know I spoke with staff, and you know there might be some things that we can look at with that.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was some confusion as to who was responsible as well. That park.
A portion of that parking lot
Just
is
people know she's talking about Ruzicka Park, the baseball, football park on Devon.
a portion of the parking lot is in a ComEd easement, and they have some concerns about how that is overlaid. But also, I believe we looked at paving that lot, and there are some additional underground storm sewers that would be necessary with pavement. We can run those numbers again, but if I recall, it was upwards around $600,000 to do it. But we can certainly look at those numbers again.
Maybe we can just patch it up again. I know this has been going on since my kids were there, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I think even, what some of the people were asking was just some of the potholes, or how, like, even the cement, like, where you park your car were, like, all jagged. There was just, like, some small...
Clean it up.
Like, care.
Clean it up in the meantime.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I've almost ripped out a muffler in that place before. All right. I would just also reiterate, I think that Brianne Fueling from Village Church kind of went over this pretty quick, but anybody that's out there that would be willing to share some memories of Dr. Michael Kammerer, that's what these cards out there are for. So honoring the legacy of Dr. Michael Kammer, pick one of those up, and if you have photos or any type of memory that you have, I think they'd be real appreciative if we submitted that. So any other new business? Any other questions for staff?
I know we talked in the past, I don't know, did Dan get his microphone fixed?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I know we've talked in the past, and I know we probably budgeted some money for the water meter upgrades. Can you touch a little bit about that?
We have it in our 5-year capital plan. It's towards the end of the 5-year. We'll actually be presenting the capital next month to change out all the meters, and it would be more of a, right now we do a drive-by read. It'll be more, what we're proposing is to have more an automatic read, so it's always live, and at that point, it would help those residents that have, if they do have a toilet stuck or a water softener, we would get an alert that says, hey, this water hasn't stopped at this house, and we would be able to get in touch with those residents that have that happening. So hopefully we would avoid having those large water bills in the future.
All right, thank you, Dan.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it seems pretty ironic that that water meter was in the same streets that they were doing the work over there. So something's going on.
Right, I wonder if they were, I mean, we did put sod out, but that was fairly late, so I don't know if people watered that, if that's some of the reason why they had a water bill, but it didn't sound like Mr. Lemberg did that, so we'll get in touch with him, see if we can get in and check the meters on those houses and see if there's something going on with that.
That was actually one thing that that contractor did really well, was they put sod out and they brought people around for the next 2 weeks and actually watered it by the road.
Yeah,
a big water truck came out and watered it. That was about the only thing that I thought that they did really well. Okay, any other questions?
No, sir.
All right, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, before we call the roll, I need to announce, I guess, that at the end of the committee of the whole, we're going to have an executive session to discuss sale of village-owned property pursuant to Section 2C6 of the Open Meetings Act. That will be at the end of the committee of the whole meeting. So, got a motion by Trustee Daney, seconded by Trustee Hopkins. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Hopkins?
Yes.
Ranky?
Yes.
Suwanski?
Yes.
Carbonaro?
Yes.
Daney?
Yes.
Gansey?
Yes.
We are adjourned.